France has some of the world's best wine, as we all know. Its government has severe financial problems, so the French president is using some of that wine to help balance the budget.
It's a novel idea. Charlie D'Agata reports on an auction that is raising money and some eyebrows.
It's been described as the French equivalent of selling off the family silver. But French President Francois Hollande decided with his country's economy in the basement, it was time to raid the cellar.
Bloody French.
Victoria Mather is a social commentator and a wine lover herself. She's not buying it.
Oh, it's just a typical bit of sort of French couture window dressing, isn't it? Because they're only selling 10% of the cellar. It's probably the bit that's about to go over the top, because wine doesn't last forever. And it's only going to raise 250,000 euros. That's €250,000.
A drop in the ocean.
Well, considering they have a deficit of 10 billion.
That €250,000, around $325,000, will come from selling off wine ranging in price from $20 to several thousand per bottle. They all carry the presidential seal, which naturally bumps up the price. The presidential wine cellar is usually the reserve of kings and queens and American presidents who wined and dined at the palace. The previous French president, Nicolas Sarkozy, never touched a drop, saying he didn't like the taste. But that puts him in a minority in France, where they drink wine like water and consider it a national treasure.
Wine is part of the French cultural identity. It's part of the way in which we perceive the French, and it is absolutely the way the French perceive themselves. And they go from milk to wine. That's a transition from childhood to adulthood.
But times are tough. France slid back into a recession this year, and unemployment is at a record high. Everybody's tightening their belt. The thinking goes, with the country in the red, why not sell some red and white and cognac and champagne, if even just a gesture? In defense of the French, some cash will replace the expensive stuff with wines of a more palatable price tag. For CBS This Morning, Charlie D'Agata, London.